right, you're exhausted. You've spent 8 hours at work already. Now you're back home and you've got this to-do list of super boring stuff you need to do to renew your mortgage, file your taxes. Everybody says you got to like triage your subscriptions, all this kind of boring stuff. Our next guest argues that you could make it a little less boring if you added some beer and maybe some buddies into the mix. Chris Colin is a person who wrote about an idea that he created called an admin night. He wrote that piece for the Wall Street Journal, and he joins us now from San Francisco to talk about it. Hello there.
Hello, thanks for having me.
All right, I characterized it, I just made that up. Boring beer and buddies. I'll let you define what an admin night actually is.
Admin night. Here in San Francisco, we emphasize syllable number one
Oh my
as
gosh, I
as
learned so
in
much. Okay. Okay.
administration. But
Thank you
I
for
like
that correction.
no, I like I'm gonna experiment with your version. That's not bad. I'll tinker with that in my head.
Okay.
I've been doing this for about 7 years. It started with a realization, which is that among my friends and my neighbors, my family, there was a new genre of busyness that I was noticing. It wasn't just that we were busy with our work. It wasn't just that we were busy with our families. There was this new category of time suck. And it was a lot of it was stuff that we've been doing for years and years and years, as long as there have been people in modern society, but it somehow it seemed worse.
Hmm.
It was all of the, like you said, it's the unsubscribes, it's the tussling with your insurance company, it's arguing with your airline because you didn't get the miles credited to your account that they said they were going to do. A million things like this. We all know them, and they all seem like diffuse nuisances. And what I started to realize is that these diffuse nuisances were adding up to one phenomenon, and they were really grinding us down and taking up hours and hours of our time. So yeah, go ahead.
They may take the amount of time, but you would argue that there's a power in community. What does it provide to do this kind of boring stuff with other people you like hanging around?
Yeah, upon noticing this, I fired off an email to some friends and neighbors, and I said, "We're going to do something about this. We're going to do what I'm calling an admin night, or what some call an admin night, and we're going to gather at my house, and we're going to do this together because it sucks doing this stuff. It's boring. It's tedious. We often postpone it. It's not a joyful way to spend your time. We're going to combine it with a party." So the idea was that they would come over and we would hang out like a regular party, have some drinks, have some snacks, talk about whatever for 10 minutes. And then we stop and we sit down and we open up our builds that we've been neglecting. We open up our laptops. We try and remember our password for that web portal that we can't get into. And we just power through this stuff for half an hour. And then my little alarm goes off. And then it's a party for 10 more minutes. And then rinse, repeat. So yeah, the idea was it could be a little more fun. It's often easier for folks to do this tedious stuff when you've got friends around you. There's strength in numbers. Um, and then I had a secret agenda too, which was if we keep doing this, we're going to not only, it's not just a productivity hack, it's a way of waking up to this phenomenon that's become a little unsustainable, I think.
Hmm. Very ADHD friendly with the time bound tasks and alarm bells and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Any other ground rules that you either found worked on that first night or you've instigated over time? Music, no music, talking, no talking.
Yeah, I'm a real tyrant. Rule number one is you can't do your job. You're going to have your laptop open. It's tempting to fire off that email that's been on your plate. No, the point of this is to honor um, this category that I'm describing and to really like appreciate the extent to which it has become a factor in our lives. So you can't do your work. Another rule of mine is that it has to be on a weekday. Weekends are holy. Weekends are for fun. Weekends are for family. Weekends are for friends. Um, so I'm not trying to have this encroach on our weekend time. So it has to be a weeknight. Um, it's a quiet work session, so we don't do phone calls. That's the one little bit of admin that we don't do. But there's never no one's ever at a loss for things that they need to check off their to-do lists. And it's
What's
not
the
just
what's the ideal number of attendees?
depends on your house, depends on your apartment. You can do I've had really great nights where it's just half a dozen people. I've had more. Um, it, your mileage may vary. It really depends on how many you can fit and what your ideal community is.
What have you found has been helpful in addition to just to the context of being around other people that other people may have experienced the roadblock you're facing with the airline or with the insurance or whatever? Is there an opportunity to say, hey, I got this thing I can't seem to solve. Does anybody have any tips for me? And then I'm going to take a crack at it in a different way.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, there's an element of barn raising to this where we are combining our knowledge and whatever we learn from these, Byzantine systems. Oh, you're trying to get through to customer support at United? Here's what I've found. Um,
Tears,
uh,
always tears. Use tears.
Tears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, no, it's a constant race to stay ahead of them because they're trying to stay ahead of us. It used to be just a few years ago, if you were on a phone tree, you could sort of jump out of it by saying representative,
Yeah.
representative, and pressing zero. Well, that doesn't work anymore. So
Right.
yeah, so we are always trying to share little tips that we've learned and sort of, in a way, unionize as consumers.
One of the things that has happened in our culture is we have looked at gamifying all sorts of things, exercise, eating. Is there do I get a gold star for showing up at midnight? Do I get extra snacks if I accomplish the reduction of 4 subscriptions from my bank account? Is there a bingo card?
The snack idea, that's interesting. Here's what we do in my admin night. At the end of the night, we go around the horn and everyone shares one thing that they accomplished that they're particularly proud of and excited about. And often it's so vanishingly small and banal that no one else but the people in this room could possibly understand how meaningful it was that you finally managed to find that password or send that email up to customer support or whatever. And you get a huge round of applause and everyone, hoots and hollers. It's very affirming.
I love this idea. What advice would you have for people who want to host something like this?
Do it. That's my advice. Do it.
Oh,
Pick
okay.
a night. Yeah, it's very easy. You gather some friends or family or neighbors or whatever. Doesn't matter. Don't overthink it. Tell people to bring a bottle of wine or some soda, grab some popcorn. And it sounds like a funny idea, and it is a funny idea, but in my experience, everyone immediately gets it. They're like, hell yes, this is a problem. This is exactly the thing I need.
I would feel like I would need to do some preparation, but I'm like pretty type A. For those people like me,
Mm.
what sort of preparation could they do so that they'd be like ready to strap in and put their foot on the accelerator as soon as you hit that gong?
I would make sure your Wi-Fi works. That's a big one. You do need it for this. This is a extremely online activity. And you remember where your password is. You don't have to go like look on the back of your modem or whatever. So be ready with that. And know what your ground rules are. I like to be a friendly tyrant. I like to tell people stop talking this time. Um,
None of your friends are surprised by this, are they?
no, no, they're okay with it.
Like, oh yeah, there's Chris. He's yeah.
So yeah, if you kind of, I guess one way to prepare is figure out who your persona is going to be as the kind of dungeon master. Um,
Have you had to remove someone from the invite list? We don't need to mention any names, Cheryl. And why did you remove her?
Cheryl knows what she did.
Does she?
Uh, no, let me think. Sometimes people are a little talkier than other times, and it's hard to get folks to simmer down. The 10 minutes of party time, bleeds over to 15 minutes. And then, you can just decide, this was a busy week. This was a hectic week. A lot going on in the world that we need to talk about. I will allow it. Or you decide to crack down. But no, no one's been excommunicated yet.
You are a person of a certain age with a particular social circle and a particular set of neighbors. What have you noticed in terms of the diversity of life stage? Like, is it quite a different game if you've
Mm.
got people showing up with two kids underfoot, or someone who's retired, someone who's had a liquidity event? Are there some nuances there?
Yeah, that's a great question. Everyone brings their own galaxy of administrative nuisance. Parents have a very well-defined sphere of tasks, whether it's setting up the carpool, dealing with summer camp, writing back to the school about that thing. For older folks, there's obviously retirement, there's end of life stuff that's terribly onerous that
Yeah.
we're expected to navigate on our own. And then for young people without kids, there's all kinds of, well, first of all, we all subscribe to 9 million streaming services, plus another million that we thought we had unsubscribed from and we haven't. And so you got to figure that out. Everyone has their own funny cocktail of these things.
Has anyone coupled up? Has there been some romance?
I am so sorry to say there hasn't. Not that I'm
All
aware
right,
of.
I was digging there. Like, I was really trying
Yeah.
to broaden out the benefits for the hosts, that this could be the way that they meet the one. Maybe not yet, but maybe there's time.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess you could engineer it if you were really enterprising about this.
You could put
Yeah.
it on Tinder or Hinge or whatever the current websites are in San Francisco that no one here in Canada has ever heard of.
I think there's a I think there's a lot of opportunities here.
So many opportunities. Chris, thank you for joining us to talk about this.
Thanks for having me.
Chris Colin came up with this idea called an admin night or an admin night, bringing together a group of friends to get a handle on some of the administrivia that we all face.